Welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting a brand new Football Manager 24 rebuild, taking charge of Tottenham Hotspur with one goal in mind, winning everything over the next 5 years. We'll be doing it with my brand new 4-2-3-1 tactic that dropped on the main channel yesterday. But here is the big twist. I've got zero control over transfers. All ins and outs are in the hands of the technical director. That means we've got to adapt, survive and dominate with whatever squad we're left with. If you want to grab the save file, the tactic, plus 11 more exclusive perks, you can go and check out the Patreon where there is still just about a 30% off offer and access to this month's giveaway of £1,300. Make sure you go and get involved. Today, it's all about Tottenham and hopefully trophies. Well, I said hopefully trophies because I'm confident in my ability when it comes to doing rebuilds. I know I've got a good tactic, but what I don't know is what players I'm going to have left in a couple of seasons' time, which does worry me because Tottenham have been doing a good job of obviously bringing players in and also letting some players go. And we are going to cover some of the new players coming in before we even get into the rebuild because I really want to keep some of them. Now, Tottenham Hotspur, of course, are a club that get memed a lot for not winning trophies. They sort of put that to bed a little bit by winning that Europa League, which we can obviously see one of them being that one in this wonderful trophy cabinet, alongside of 2 Premier Leagues, 8 FA Cups, 4 Carabao Cups, 7 Community Shields. In my opinion, they've won quite a fair bit, but they always are known as the team that can't get the job done. Hopefully today, despite having zero control of transfers, I can change that. Now, they have got, in what my opinion is the best stadium in world football. They've got perfect youth facilities, nearly perfect training facilities, great youth recruitment, very good reputation, tons of money. The owners love the club, apparently, and a decent squad, to be fair. Now, looking sort of at the money side of things, if you're playing back home using the latest database, you'd have close to 152 million. So you'd have quite a fair bit of money to spend. They, however, have got close, that is definitely close if you combine them, to £1 billion worth of debt. So that is going to be a big bit part of my interest anyway, to see, does the rebuild get affected because obviously the game might not spend money to try and put some money back into the club? That's going to be very interesting. Are we going to sell it, everyone? These rebuilds are so fun when I have no control of the transfers because I don't know where I'm going to finish. Genuinely, I don't know because things happen mid-season. Now, of course, we are playing in the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. Today, I want to win the lot and I want to win as many as possible. The main ones in order would be Premier League because I just think we need to win one. Champions League pretty much tied, then probably FA Cup, then Carabao Cup in that order. The Community Shield and stuff I'm not really too fussed about, but of course if they come, they come. I'm not going to complain. Now, before we go and talk tactics, we are going to go through some of the business that has happened in real life. For those that may have forgotten about transfers or just haven't kept up to date in general, this will be a little reminder for you because we've got some very good players coming in. So we're going to cover the players coming in first, and obviously this player has obviously been at the club for a while. Lucas Bergvall. Now I'm covering them for the reason of saying whether I'd happily lose them or obviously I really want to keep them. And with Lucas Bergvall, I would actually not want to lose him, but if we do lose him, he is replaceable in this game. I think the lad has got tons of potential in real life, just not really given that in Football Manager. So if he does get sold, I'm not going to be gutted, but I wouldn't also encourage it. Matty's Tell, I actually would really like to keep because this guy has got great output inside of FM24. He offers blistering pace, very versatile, still very young at the age of 20. Luckily for us, he's a player that I don't usually see get sort of sold around a lot by the AI, so fingers crossed we get to keep him. In this game, he's actually not given a great ability, but again, if you're quite new to Football Manager, the attributes mean more than the ability. So this guy is definitely a very, very key player and a sign-in that I definitely do approve for them. Kevin Danso, a really, really good centre-back. I'm going to be honest with you, though, as good as he is, and he is a really, really strong centre-back, I wouldn't care if we sold him because we can replace him as long as we replace him well. This is me basing it off that the AI will obviously go and sign someone that replaces him to the certain same pedigree. I wouldn't encourage the sale, but if it did happen, I wouldn't be heartbroken. But in real life, very good signing. Kudus, I do not want to sell under any circumstance. I love Kudus. I think he's a joy to watch. He's explosive, great player, can play centrally on the right, which is great for the tactic you'll see that I've got very shortly. And he's a player that I think think can be part of this team for the next 5 years and actually quite easily be in the starting 11. I don't see why you'd sell him. I don't think it'd be realistic to sell him. And for that reason, fingers crossed we don't sell him, man. Because with him and a certain other man that has come in, we've got two incredible creators. And that would be Xavi Simons. Now, if we sell him, we're crazy. We're nuts. We are absolutely wild because this guy can easily be part of my project for 5 years and is the face of this project. This man was wanted by so many teams and Tottenham went in there and got the job done. And do you know what? I've got nothing but love for that deal because it's sensational. A great player, still super young, still got potential, and massive for my rebuild, massive for Tottenham in real life, and massive for football. We need these young talents coming through, so I hope he does brilliantly in real life. And I'm not even a Tottenham fan. Max McFadden is going to come in. I'm not going to use him. He looks pretty decent, to be fair, for a lower standard player, so if you are playing some low league saves, I would consider him. This is interesting because the game could decide to buy him, and I would actually go out and encourage the permanent signing of Kolo Muani because he is 26, he'll be 27 at the end of this loan spell, but that will still be fine for my 5-year plan. Now, the game doesn't know I'm only here for 5 years, so they might just think, oh, he's a little bit too old, we won't sign him. I would heavily encourage it. The price tag, I don't know how much I'll pay for him. Probably about 60 is quite fair, to be honest, in today's footballing world. As always, we are going to give sort of a rating for every incoming and outgoing player, which the game decides to do. For Kolo Muani, if we got him for like 60 million after a good season, the rating would be pretty good. The guy's incredible. Comes to João Paulina, I would honestly happily see him not be extended permanently. I think in real life they'll consider it, but just for the video game purpose, he is a little bit too old to, he'll be 30, it's different. It's very difficult because if he's cheap, if he's like 16, 17 million, then I can justify it for a backup. But if we go out and spend 30 to 50, I think we're a little bit wild. So I'll happily take him for a season, but I just don't think it would be sensible to get him fully. We have had some key players leave, obviously, including Højbjerg. He is a player that has gone to Marseille for quite a fair bit now. Just sort of reminding you guys of the players that you might be thinking, well, Josh, where are they? For anyone that doesn't use the latest database, you might even still have this guy. So just to clarify, he is not here. Can be said for Eric Dyer, of course, getting that free move to Monaco. I would have been heavily pushing them to sell him anyway because I've never rated him. Emerson Royale got a lot of stick off Tottenham fans and English fans in general in the Premier League, and to be honest, I think in the game he's actually quite good, but I can imagine that he would have been sold anyway through the AI system. So yeah, a little reminder about his move to the Brazilian League? The Brazilian League. Brian Gill, I'm sure a player which Tottenham fans are probably happy to see go, didn't really come and do too much. He actually ends up at Girona, which is a good move for him, and to be honest with you, he's a player that would not get anywhere near the team that I've got at the moment. Oh, I don't like this one. Heung-min Son, one of my favourite players in the Premier League since I've been a football fan from day one. Since he arrived in the Premier League, that bright spark from Leverkusen, what a player he was, and do you know what? It was actually nice to see him win that Europa League. In a season that he wasn't exactly at his best, if we're being honest, it was still very, very nice to see. But of course, he does take the money, or not just the money, he takes the move, and he does go to the MLS. And there are a few other players, obviously, going out on the free, and a lot of loan players, including Alfie Devine, you've got Ashley Phillips, you've got Vuskovic. These are the sorts of players that will be interesting to see what the board and what the team actually decides to do. But we have got a big array of players coming in. This is the tactic. Again, at any part of the video, you want to get these cool perks, including the tactic and the save file. That is every single one that I have done this year, all available on there in file format and ad-free viewing. You can go and check it out. The team on paper, I think, can win a Premier League. Genuinely, in this game, with this tactic, I know we could win a Premier League. But I know also how quickly things change. We sell players mid-season, we go crazy, and we can see a lot of these players leave. But on paper, from the bat, you've got Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, Paulina, Sarr, Kuleveski, Simmons, Maddison, Kolo Muani. Now, what players do I want to keep or sell? We're going to have a brief rundown, and I'll either say keep or sell of the players that, if I say keep, I would really not want to see him go. Sell doesn't mean that I want them gone ASAP, but I wouldn't cry if they went. Vicario, keep. Porro, sell. Romero and Van de Ven, keep. Udogie, keep. Sarr, sell. Paulinho, sell. Kuleveski, sell. Simmons, keep. Maddison, sell. Kolo Muani, keep. Kinksky, sell, not too fussed. Dragusin, sell. Basuma, sell. Solanke, sell. Spence sell, Gray sell, Johnson sell, Danso sell, Bentancur sell, Kudus keep, Richarlison sell, Solomon sell. Yeah, a lot of players I can actually, as long as the game does it, we could replace. So mainly it's the players in the 11 that I really want to keep, which is somewhat refreshing, but I will say, I mean, Porro's wanted by Barca, Van de Ven wanted by Real Madrid and Al Ittihad, Kulusevski wanted by City and Maddison wanted by Saudi, Bentancur wanted by Newcastle and Barca, Davies, Newcastle on loan. This is going to be a pretty active window, I think. So we'll go into season 1. We'll look at the transfer window first before we actually see what we've won, because I've got a feeling things are going to get pretty spicy, even in season 1. Well, that's already gone down the pan, isn't it? Because Van de Ven is going to go to Real Madrid. Now, we play half a season with him, and he goes for 70 million. So I've got to bear in mind that we have doubled our money. But I really like Van de Ven because he's so quick at the back, also can put in a challenge, and can play left back as well. And really would be part, in what my opinion would be, of a Premier League winning team. I really don't like the sale. The money is made up for a little bit of it because we have doubled our money, but I can't give it a high rating because I really value the player. So for me, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. It would be a lot lower if we would have got nowhere near that price tag, but the reason why it's a 5 is just because I really like him. He's such a good player in this game, and the fact that I've only played 18 games with him, and that's all that I get, I've not got a good feeling about this. We do actually loan out Lucas Bergvall, and right away I'm giving this a 10, because the game could have easily sold him, but we don't. We loan him out, he goes to Wolves, and he plays 6 games. So he doesn't exactly have a great loan spell, but the game, you know, can't control Wolves in how many games they play him in. The move was smart, so I really rate that the perfect of the perfect, because if he was to be loaned out, I would have liked it to be in an English league, because he can at least stay used to the game, and Wolves are a decent team to get into, so big fan of that. Well, Madrid are going to cash in on Tottenham's downfall, because Sarr is going to go to Madrid for a total of 62 million, which is not far off 50 million pounds pure profit. Again, that 16 to 18 game region is what we got out of him. Now, this player, I would have actually, you know, I would have kept, and he's got a crazy amount of potential. I can see why Madrid have actually come in and brought him. Now, what I can't do is look at the players that have come in and already see whether we've replaced him, because that will affect my score. And I want to do this quite fairly. So I'm going to rate that a solid 6.5 out of 10, because I would have liked to keep the player, but at the same time, for £62 million, I think that's a very fair offer. It's significant profit for the club. It will put money back into the team, and I think if it's spent right, it will be okay. Well, the man that I said I wouldn't mind going's already gone. He goes to the Saudi League on not shy of £1 million a week, so bit of profit for us, £13 million coming in, and I'll rate this a 7 because I didn't really mind if he left. We've got a bit of money for him, and yeah, I mean, surprised he's gone already though. 10 out of 10. I've seen the price tag. Solanke, who is definitely replaceable, is going to go to Chelsea for 76 million. Now, we overspent spending 56. 76 million is absolute robbery. Chelsea will spend money on anything. So, do you know what? I know it's gone to a rival team. I know he's a decent player, but he's not world class. He's also 28. We've got good attackers, as long as we're not sold any more. And for that money, I'll rate it, yeah, that's a very high rating. Very good bit of business. Brennan Johnson goes to Liverpool. Why do they need him? I don't know. Now, he's a very, very much loved player in the Tottenham team, and a player that is back up in my save, but would definitely get game time. So, to make this a good rating, I'm going to need a good price tag, and it would have to be around the £40 million mark, and it is. You know, we spent 47, we sold him for 48, so, you know, it's not much of a profit, and for that reason it's sort of like, it's not exactly electrifying, but also it's not awful, because again, it comes down to if, whats and maybes depending on how we've spent this money. But at the minute, I'll give it a 6, because I think it would have been nice to have him around. Tottenham fans love him. He's very versatile. He's still quite young. You know, he was very important in that European final. But if Liverpool want him and we make profit, It is what it is. Liverpool also take Bentancur, who, again, I don't mind because he's 28. We've got good young players in the squad that are coming up. So at the end of the day, I'm encouraging older players to leave. And we do cash in 38 million and, you know, over double our money from Juventus. So business-wise, has been incredible this window. And I mean absolutely incredible. We'll have a full rundown of how much we've brought in and how much we've spent at the end of the income and players. For now, though, let's go and see how we've spent money. The first player is going to be Oscar. Now, again, he's a player that definitely has a bit of potential, but I don't know how much we're going to see in a 5-year period, to be honest. He's already wanted by 11 clubs, so if we loan him out, then that could be quite good. I'll rate this one about a 5, because it's a fair bit of money, but then we've generated so much income on top of our original budget. Yeah, I mean, interesting. Player from Millwall, again, very similar to the previous player. I feel like these are more signings for the future. They're players that aren't ready to come in and play right away. How much should we spend on him? 5.7 million. I'll go over 5 again, because I honestly don't know where this player will take me. Serious talent in real life, but again, a player that I just don't think will get to actually shine in this save. He comes in for 3 million, and I know how good this guy can become and how much he can be worth. So I will give him about a 6.5 for this signing, purely because it would be higher if I was playing as like a Palace, for example. He'd be in the team in a couple of years, but at Tottenham, especially if we've signed players, he ain't going to get near it. Same can be said for this guy again. We seem to be spending money only on the future, and we've sold half our team. So I hope there's more pricey signings coming up, because otherwise we will not have a good season. We spent 3.8 million on this player. I've never signed him before, but I do like what I see technically from him. So I do think there is a player in there, but with limited knowledge, I can only give a 4. Right. And to replace Bentancur, we replace him with an older player on loan from PSG in Fabian. Now, he's a decent player. He is also joining permanently at the end of this, so I'll make sure we go and remember how much he's joining for. I hope we've not spent big money on him, because he is 30. As a player, he's okay. As a decision, I don't like it. We've signed an older pre-built player. I'm going to give this a 4. I don't really approve. Schlotterbeck, I really like it. I think it's a good upgrade on Danso. I think it's somewhat of a replacement for Mickey van der Ven. Different sort of player, but a very, very good player. We get him for 38 million, which goes really high in my book. He does really well in the half a season he was here. Very, very well. That's a strong 7 for me. I think genuinely out of the centre-backs out there that I would encourage to sign, he'd be up there. And obviously we have the money to do it. And it's a cracking deal as well. 0.9 million, we have got another future talent. Again, I don't mind young players. I don't mind future players. We only spend, 800k actually, not 3 million. The value's there, so basing it off that, there is a player in there. He's got a lot of positive attributes. But again, we're on about a 5-year span here, so how many chances will he get in my team? I don't know. I'm going to give it a 4. And lastly, we are going to welcome in Neto. Again, the same story, another 4. This window has been crazy. We have sold 381 million pounds worth of players, and we have spent 127 million, including these players that were already at the club. And the only players that are sort of pre-built and ready to play in the top league are Fabian and Schlotterbeck. And we have sold Van der Ven, we have sold Sarr, we have sold Solanke, Johnson, Bentancur. I don't know how this season's going to go. But we are going to be in a Champions League final, and I genuinely, hand on heart, am very surprised. Genuinely am surprised by that, and we are going to go a goal down, which, do you know what? I'm going to say it before it happens. If we do lose, I'm not going to be too fussed, because to get here is way above my expectation. But we've still got Kuleveski, we've got Paulina, we've still got a decent team. Archie Gray, it's nice to see him play in such a big game, and getting a wow. That is really nice to see. To see him getting a goal and playing in a UCL final is magnificent, and he actually plays part in the Champions League winning goal. We're going to win a competition like this with half our usual team. And there you go, Champions League winners. Kolo Muani is going to be the top goal scorer. Please sign him on the permanent. And we must have got through some decent teams. 4-1 against Chelsea. And when it comes to the quarterfinals, 5-0 against Fenerbahce. Round of 16, 6-3 against Bilbao. And obviously the group stages we are going to be in. Did we top the charts of the group? groups. We do, nearly going invincible. So the Champions League is ours in Season 1. Carabao Cup doesn't go as smoothly. We are going to lose to Man City. Now, I'm not too fussed. I don't care if we lose everything else this season. To win the Champions League in Season 1, after seeing that transfer window, I was heavily surprised we'd even make it out of the groups. Well, we are in another FA Cup final, and I'm going to be honest, we got blessed this entire competition. Easy fixtures and Ipswich Town in the final, and we are going to make it 1-0 in 51 seconds. Ipswich Town are my local team, but no disrespect, it's an easy final for this team. Maddison down the right-hand side, absolutely taking on everyone, is going to put a ball back stick, and Kolo Muani is going to make it 2 in 11 minutes. This is a very ugly game for Ipswich Town. Awful play from them. Romero so far pushed up into Pedro Porro down the right-hand side. Is he going to put a ball in? He is. Driven ball in. Richarlison is going to make it 3 in 26 minutes. And it gets even worse. Ipswich Town, as I say, my local team are going to find themselves 4-0 down after getting to this cup final with the best goal you will see in Football Manager this year. A rocket from Kolo Muani. And the only goal they come to get, which is still disappointing we actually lost the clean sheet, is this goal here from Jens Kajuste, and he's going to make it 4-1. Not even a contest. And we also win the Premier League, so we have won the Premier League, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. Now, the Champions League's the big shock here. The Premier League, I guess we had our full-strength team for at least half the season. What I will say is, Dominic Solanke might be a bit of an issue because he's the third top goal scorer. Now, we've got 2 players in there, Kuleveski and Kolo Muani. We are also going to see in the assists, Kuleveski, Maddison, Pedro Porro, all going to be in there. Vicario, the 4th most clean sheets. You've got Fabian, the 3rd best performer. But for Season 1, I'm going to take that and run for the hills because that is a very, very good season. A treble in Season 1. Now, money-wise, we are going to have a budget of 174 million. Now, don't forget, we have got £8.5 million being spent on Fabian. Our wage budget is practically chalked, and I'm interested to see who stays and who goes. Our team on paper now looks like this. Vicario, Porro, Romero, Schlotterbeck, Udogi, still a good backline, still a good midfield, but very, very old, and one of them's on loan with not the option to join or guaranteed option. Kuleveski, Richarlison, Simmons, Kolo Muani. Now, the goals have been coming out from all angles. You've got, not being funny, you've got Paulina even scoring close to 10. Kuleveski 29, 11 for Simmons. Richarlison with 33 and 5. He is now injured for 5 to 8 weeks, which is okay because it's the end of the season. 47 and 10 for Kolo Muani. If we don't sign this guy on the permanent, I don't know what's going to happen. Apart from him, I don't mind if we don't sign Paulino because we could replace him potentially. The squad is looking quite small, I will say that. Basuma not getting much game time. Kudus not doing too well. Maddison doing splendid. Gray doing pretty decent. Spence even playing. Our wing-backs are thriving. Porro with 27 goal contributions. Udogi with 18. So this team on paper can win a lot of trophies, but surprising. And also, how many people stay? Q Season 2. Well, we are going to lose Basuma, and not in the way that I'd actually encourage him to leave, because I think we should have got money for this guy, because I'm not being funny, we spent a bit of money getting him here from Brighton, and to see him go on the free is a bit of a kick in the teeth, so I'm going to give this a 3, purely based off the fact I don't hate the fact he's gone, but at least get 20-30 million. Get something. The fact he's gone on the free has not been well managed. And Davies, I think, had to go anyway, and the fact we have got close to 10 million is a really, really good bit of business. I'm going to give it a 9 because he could have easily been a player that left on the free or retired here and just rotted at the club. So super happy with that bit of business. Great stuff. Also going to loan out Lucas Bergvall. This time he's going to go to Nottingham Forest. So again, I think the correct decision has taken place. I would argue, unless we've signed loads of midfield players, there's a world where this guy could have been given a chance, but he goes to Forest and does quite well, to be fair. What I will say is, he I really hope he doesn't become a player that just gets loaned every single season, because eventually he'll be sold. The same story can be told for Alfie Devine. Now, this guy has been loaned out for 4 years back to back, and I'm starting to think, do you just sell him? Will the game just decide to sell him? And that might be the outcome, but for now, I don't encourage selling a Tottenham prodigy, so I'm going to rate this a 7 out of 10 based off the fact that we are still trying to grow him. We do not sign Kolo Muani, we're going to sign Marcus Thuram instead. Now, he is on the older side, but also Kolo Muani is not no young fox, so he's a little bit older than Kolo Muani, but he's a pre-built machine that scored nearly a goal a game and dropped a 7.41 average rating. He is elite. He has played for a massive club in Inter Milan. He was incredible in the Bundesliga. He's got great dribbling, finishing, first touch. He's rapid, a leading Premier League striker, and a pre-built machine. He is a guy that can give you goals from playing on the left-hand side or up front. For us, he will be our striker, and I can tell you something now, there's a lot worse players out there, and for that price tag of 81 million, it seems a lot for nearly a 30-year-old man, but at the end of the day, you need to spend big when you lose the goals that Kolo Muani provided. So I'm going to slap an 8 on this one. I like it. Do sign Fabian actually for £16 million. I guess he had a pretty decent season, right? So I said if it wasn't ridiculous money, I'll take him for a backup, and therefore I can't give it an awful rating. So I'll give it a 6. I'm not a big fan of it because I think there are better options, or give Bergvall a chance, but clearly they like him. I'll back it. Signing I like a lot. We are going to welcome in Dean Huijsensen, coming in from Real Madrid, and this is a big signing, by the way. 38 million, cracking price tag, great first season, decent season at Madrid, and we poach him, and we've got a player here who is ridiculously pre-built. Great tackling, great heading, 17 heading, great acceleration, great pace, good strength, good work rate, good passing. He's my dream at centre-back, and he's 22. This makes up for the Van de Ven sale. This is a 10 out of 10. Ridiculously cheap, fantastic player, pre-built, attracted him from Real Madrid. Come on, perfect. Oh, Pulisic. I don't know how to think, or I don't know what to feel about this one. The former Chelsea man. I've never had a good experience with Pulisic, and he's done okay. 9 goal contributions. It's pretty decent. Now, he is only on loan, and I'll be very surprised if we buy him. If we do buy him after this, in the next window, for 45 million, I will do another rating. For a loan move, I guess we needed legs in the team. I'll go a 6. What an absolute diamond. No wonder why they loaned out Bergvall. We are going to welcome in Nicolo Ravela, coming in from Lazio for 59 million. Pretty fair price tag, in my opinion. We only got him for half a season as well, so hence why he only played 13 games. Very good performer. Used him a lot in this game. Fantastic player to have around the club. Elite midfield player. Versatile when it comes to playing deep. Still quite young at 25. I approve of the price tag. I approve of the signing, and I think he can achieve quite a fair bit at the club. So I'm going to give this another 8. I think there are a couple of players in this window that have been really positive. You know, we can look at some of the players that have gone out, but also Thuram's world class. You've got Dean, who's coming up for a world class centre back. Pulisic is an option. You've got Ravela, world class midfield player. And we also signed this guy, which I didn't really talk about because he's not going to be much to us, as you know, he already gets moved on to Everton already. So, you know, a bit of profit being made there. But I'm actually quite positive about this window. A lot of money spent, but then if you compare it to how much we sold last window, we definitely had a window like this coming up. So hopefully we see some trophies come in season 2. Well, despite a few players coming in and going out, we're going to win the Premier League again, and Marcus Thuram outscores Erling Haaland. So how about a little bit of that, huh? 34 goals, Kulusevski with 18, Maddison with 17, you've got Porro as your top assister, Udogie is joint second with Rodrigo at Man City, and Saka. You've got Vicario coming in with the second most clean sheets, who, by the way, is some goalkeeper. I absolutely love the guy. However, he is 30, so will the game decide to sell him? I'm not too sure. Potentially, it could be coming, but that is now back-to-back Premier League titles. Champions League, we are simply flying. 8-3 against Inter Milan in the round of 16. The quarterfinals, 8-0 over AC Milan. Semi-finals, 6-4 over Barcelona. we're heading to another UCL final against a team that I've just taken their centre-back from. And the pre-built striker that I hyped up so much is going to be responsible for absolute brilliance. Look at that finish. That's what you get with him. A 1-0 lead inside of 4 minutes. Now, sadly, we are playing one of the best teams in the world, so they are going to find a way back into this game. Around about 2 minutes after, with Tuchel, great touch outside into Trent, great touch inside, and it is a great finish. I can't take anything away from a great team like that, but luckily for us, we have strengthened, and Revea is going to go down the right-hand side, very, very pushy in that position, into Pedro Porro, driven across, and Simmons wins me another Champions League. So that is going to be a 2-1 win in the final, and back-to-back Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. So win the UEFA Super Cup for our first time. Again, not really too fussed about this, but it was a game which Thuram took into his own hands, scoring 2 goals. Community Shield, we also win 4-1 against Arsenal. 2 goals from Kudus, 1 from Maddison and Simmons. The only things we don't win is the FA Cup in a 2-1 loss in the final against Man City, and the Carabao Cup, we go out quite early against United. Have they still got Amorim? They don't. They have Thomas Tuchel. Okay, that's not a good sign, because every rebuild I check, Amorim's sacked in a couple of seasons. But it does mean in Season 2, we win the Premier League, the Champions League, and the Super Cup, and the Community Shield. That is 4 trophies in 1 season, which is very, very good. Very, very good. And when it comes down to the money, we are going to look at a staggering £166 million. The debts and loans are still there, but are coming down a little bit. So they are clearly having quite a little bit priority trying to get those down, and the team looks a little bit dead like that, but when we actually put in the best 11, the team actually is very decent on paper. It's now appearing to be quite different. For example, Pulisic I could never imagine in a Tottenham shirt. Even Thuram I couldn't imagine. But the fact is, the back line's still looking very good, including the keeper. The midfield now looks a lot more attractive with Revea in. The front line I don't hate. It's a little bit older in some areas, but I don't hate it, and that's including Pulisic. But he actually has quite a quiet season. Unlike Kuleveski, unlike Thuram, unlike Simmons, unlike Jensen, who scored 16, I imagine, from set pieces. Udogie scored 10, Porro scored 7, and I can tell you something now, Maddison, 26 and 14. This guy's, hopefully, fingers crossed, going nowhere. He is doing such a fine job, and the team, already with a couple of transfer windows, looks so differently. As we now approach season number 3, who do we keep, who do we sell? I'm getting quite worried about some of these players because, for example, the older players are the ones that usually get moved on to the Saudi sort of leagues, and that could include Maddison and Vicario, and they're the 2 players that I really don't want to lose in the older age batch of players. Well, he was once a man that was rumoured to be Tottenham's next big thing, and I don't really think it's worked out. Dane Scarlett is going to get a free move to Sheffield Wednesday. Out of pure love for his career, I respect this move. I know no money was generated, but also he spent no money. So at the end of the day, purely for his career and the benefit of him, I'll rate this a 7. This sale is interesting because, Dragusin's a player that can develop into an absolute beast, or he'll develop into nothing. And for us, he's not really been given the chance. So I don't hate the sale. Now, it depends on the amount. 26 million, so we have made a profit, which is pretty impressive considering he wasn't really playing games, as you can see, apart from the first season. And I'm actually going to be quite surprised here and give myself a good rating, or give the board a good rating of an 8, because I think it's a good recovery from a signing that we probably did spend a bit too much money on. Yes, thank you, Fabian. Now, I've seen the price tag. It's a 10-10 outgoing because we spent 16 and we sold him for 40 million to the Saudi League. They'll buy anyone. They're crazy. He is on 750k a week, so I get why he's get why he's gone, sorry. But that is incredible business. Maybe it was part of the plan. That is significant business, great business, and money, money, money. 10 out of 10. Goodbye. Seriously approve of this one. Again, I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10, very high, because I like the fact that we've signed him and been sensible enough to actually consider his upcoming, his future, his development. And sending him to the Championship, is a really good decision. Jed Spence, I know he's rated in real life, but simply is not getting the game time in the team, and to sell him for 24 million, I actually think it's a pretty decent return. It makes his career actually have a chance as well. He is getting older. He is, what, 27? Not really much potential, so I'm going to rate it about a 7. It's not exactly outstanding, but also it's a good use of, you know, good use of a player in terms of generating income for a club that needs to get some income in because our debt is through the roof. Winning one is going to be Liverpool new man Hugo Ekitike, who actually comes in for 34 million after a pretty mediocre stint at Liverpool. Now, he comes in, plays 8 games, doesn't score, doesn't assist, and drops a pretty stinky average rating. So, based off his performance, it's going to bring the rating down. The idea I don't hate as a backup to Thuram. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. He is already wanted by Leicester, Forest and AC Milan, and the fact that Leicester want him I think says a little bit about how well he's played. And I'm a big fan of. Now, I know he's not the quickest, but we have got quick centre-backs to go next to him. We are going to welcome in Jan-Paul van Heck, coming in from Real Madrid for 44 million. They signed him, didn't really give him any chance, and actually lost money. So the fact that I know Real Madrid spent 51 million, we've got him for significantly cheaper, and he is a really good centre-back. He is a bit on the older side, and I've got to consider that, obviously, he's had a couple of years where he's not been playing that much, but I still really like the signing, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because our centre-back options are now actually quite good. Quinton Timber, really, really handy player. These are the players I like who can play a mixture of positions. Centrally, DM, centre-back, right-back, AM. He is the complete package. 59 million, I have signed him for cheaper than that. He also does pretty averagely in the team, but he is worth more than that. So there's a lot of ifs and muts and there's positives, negatives. I'm going to go balanced and quite reserved and give it a 6. A little bit better than a 50% approval rate, but also I'm not like buzzing for it because I have signed him for a lot cheaper. This man gets signed in every, you know, no control rebuild ever, and I always give the same rating. I'm not going to waste my breath. 7 out of 10. Christiansen, really approve of this signing as a backup left back, especially if anything does happen to Udogie. We have got a fantastic, fantastic option here from Leicester. Now, if we have got him for anything under 40 million, the rating will be exceptionally high. If we've spent more than 40, it'll be like a 7. Let's go and see. 47, that's around the price tag. I'm going to give it an 8 because this guy is really, really good. Also a decent first season. 1 and 5, decent average rating. But I'm going to tell people now, get ready to be shocked with who you're about to see in a Tottenham shirt. Seriously, get ready and drop a like when you see it because this is record breaking. Welcome in Lamine Yamal. Yeah, who would have thought that? Talk about a surprise. He is going to come in. Now, I don't really care how much we've spent because it is such a big player to have in the club. Potential, one of the best players in the world, shirt sales, fun to watch, the fans will love him. He is the new face of Tottenham now, over Xavi Simons, over everybody. This is now Tottenham Hotspur. How much did we spend? 96 million. It's mega money. He did return a decent season, 5 goals, 7 assists, and you know what? It's mega money, but you will never get this guy for anything less than that probably. So I'm going to rate it a 9 because I love the fact we've gone out and signed someone who screams, we're a big team, we're winning every trophy, I don't care who you are, we can sign you, and we've got the money, we'll pay your wages, and we'll get you here. And that's exactly what Tottenham have done. And that completes a magnificent window. And I can't believe it, we have won another Champions League final on penalties, so a lot closer this time, over PSG. We have won the Champions League every time we have played in the competition. That's a little fun stat. To get there, we had to go past Real Madrid, which was not an issue. Quarterfinals, we had to get past Juventus, not an issue. Round of 16, we had to get past FC Bayern, not an issue. And when it comes to the league phase, we go invincible, not an issue. Thank you. Right, off to London against Brentford in the FA Cup. Now, I will go over and say one thing. Brentford give us a bit of a tougher game than what I was expecting. Despite going 1-0 up here, and what appears to have been a very comfortable start from Thuram, Brentford weren't just sitting back, and they've got a man there in Hickey that I would not mind seeing in a Tottenham shirt, and he actually doesn't really play too much in the goal, but it's great play from Damsgaard, a good goal there from Adele, and I can tell you something right now, they were not an easy team to overcome. Revea is going to play it into Pedro Porro. 70 minutes on the clock. Porro down the right-hand side. Fantastic play. And an own goal is going to give us the lead. So a pretty lucky way to take the lead of this game. And they make up for it. Brentford were feeling this final. They're not a joke team. They were really taking this final to us, a team that have won so many trophies relentlessly, and it was all tied up with 83 minutes on the clock until the last kick of the game. We score from a Schlotterbeck header and win it. Just. The Super Cup, we are going to win 2-0 over Borussia Dortmund, making that 2 times in 2 years. We love to see that. The Carabao Cup, we are just going to scrape by Arsenal 3-2. So a couple of really close finals there as Rasmus Højlund puts pen to paper with the Gunners. And the Community Shield against Manchester City. Kit clash here or what? The kits are clashing like crazy. We are going to get off to a great start with Porro, ball inside, awful defending, and it is going to be Kuleveski making it 1 in 13 minutes. And this is what I like to call the Man City collapse, because I've never seen this happen in this year's game. Man City switched off in this next segment of the game. Schlotterbeck drives and lashes one down the middle. How that went in, I don't know. Fair play. About 2 minutes after, they go on to concede a third goal from a set piece, and we go on to win this Community Shield in 4-0 fashion, with 3 goals being scored in a 9-minute window. I have never seen Man City not only crumble, but fail so much. And Yamal gets his first competitive goal. We also do win the Club World Championship final on penalties over Barcelona, along with the Premier League. So we have won everything in this season. Prem, Champions League, Super Cup, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Community Shield, Club World Championship. We've won the whole shebang. The perfect flawless season. And the Premier League, once again, we're seeing Kuleveski, Xavi Simons, Porro in the assists, Vicario the most clean sheets, Thuram the top goal scorer. Ridiculous. What a performance from him. Kuleveski again. And the team on paper, don't get me wrong, is massively unorthodox. A lot of these players you probably would never associate with Tottenham Hotspur. But when you look at it, it's incredible. Great goalkeeper, great backline, great midfield. Lamine Yamal on the right wing. Simons on the left with 29 and 25. Kuleveski stays and develops and becomes monstrous in the AM role. 32 and 33. And Thuram, 71 and 9. 80 goal contributions in his, second season here, if I'm not mistaken? A ridiculous performance. Very, very strong. Jensen, 16 goals, 11 and 7 from Maddison, 5 and 13 from Gray. So Gray's getting in the team now and actually becoming a bit of a baller, which is really, really nice to see. And I look at this team on paper, and what's going to slow us down? The only thing that slows us down now is if we're stupid and sell all of our players, because this team can carry on for another couple of years. It really, really can. Now, in terms of money, we are going to have £108 million to spend going into the next window. But something bad's going to have to happen for this to go, completely up the wall, because the way we're playing, we're not beatable. Outgoing one is going to be Jamie Donnelly, of course, a bit of an upcoming striker as well, but was never going to get a chance in this save, and he is going to go for 25 million, which I can approve of for a player that was not going to get used. I'll give this a 10 out of 10 because it's 25 million that I forgot I had. Fan of it. I don't like selling a player after a season, and Christiansen definitely not, because he was a big part of this team, and he is going to go to Madrid for 77 million. So the price tag is going to sweeten the blow a little bit because it's mega profit, and it doesn't make up for the fact that I really like the guy. He's still pretty young, considering, the fact we've got 2 more years to go. He would easily be fine for that. I'm going to give it a 4 because I just don't like selling him because he was really important. We're going to sell Gonzalo Montiel. He's going to go to Napoli for £8 million. We don't quite recover the money, but we recover almost all of the money for a 32-year-old that was going nowhere at the club. 8 out of 10. Lucas Bergvall goes out on loan again, and it is working. He is slowly becoming better and better. You can see that by the ability and by the up arrows. And he goes to Forest, and he is really playing well now. So for the future and for his development, We're doing well. 8 out of 10. A very boring window compared to the last window. The most exciting player we've got is Maximilian Middlestart, as I imagine the replacement for Christiansen, which doesn't quite hit the same, although he's actually quite well-rounded. But he's 32 years of age. We only spend 5 million, which is actually quite good. It tells me that they were trying to generate money back into the club, which I do respect. And there's nothing against this man because he's actually quite a good left-back. So for that money, 6 out of 10. Apart from that, we welcome in a couple more players that don't even play for us, so I'm not going to give them ratings. We spend 4.8 million, so a very low spend window, 71 million pounds generators. We haven't lost too many players, though, to be honest. I know he's not as good as Christiansen, but we have replaced the left back. The right back we're not really going to miss. So there is a world we can actually carry on winning the same amount of trophies. So I've clearly proven we are going to get to our 4th Champions League final and a chance to win 4 Champions Leagues back to back. Timber strikes it, a great start inside of 32 minutes. Barcelona have a little tantrum and go down to 10 men, and we're going to go and win our 4th back-to-back Champions League title, which is some sentence to say, by the way, with another Panenka. Is it me, or has there been loads of them goals today? We hold ourselves up in the Premier League by winning our 4th title back-to-back, 3 times Arsenal runners-up. We love to see that, doing what they do best. It is a great performance, I will say, from Porro, from Yamal. Hugo Ekitike, I always butcher that name, has actually redeemed himself. 27 goals, Thuram with 22, Kulusevski with 21. I'm actually really happy that he's turned this around because he had a bit of an abysmal first season, but he has been really good this season, like really, really good. So I might actually consider upping the rating a little bit. He has really turned it around, and that is now 4 times Premier League winners, 4 times Champions League winners. We win the Super Cup again, 2-1 over Arsenal. We are not going to win anything else. We lose in 3 finals, which is not nice to see. We lose 2-0 against Chelsea in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup 3-2 against United, and the Community Shield 4-2 against Arsenal. So was that Benassa? That was Benassa, an interesting signing for Arsenal. What I will say is, we are still winning the Champions League and Premier League, and I can't be annoyed with what we have won so far. We have done such a good job. And to go into the last season, we are going to have a budget of 130 million. The debt is still being brought down and down and down every single window, and our team is looking pretty similar from the last time I showed you, because nothing crazy really happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the last season, admire quickly that Thuram and Hugo are now fighting it out, nearly both scoring 40 goals each when it comes to playing up front. We've got a team here. Oh, we are going to sell James Maddison, and maybe the time is right because he is now 33 and he actually goes back to a club that he originally played for in Norwich for 29 million. Now, I'm not expecting to recover the 43 million. He's been at the club for 4 very successful years, multiple Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, and to get nearly 30 million for a 33, nearly 34-year-old is decent. And I like the club he's gone to in terms of he's stayed in a semi-competitive sort of league. So I'm going to, do you know what? I'm going to give him, are they in the Premier League or Championship? Premier League, very competitive league. I'll give it an 8. Oh no, I don't like this. Because now we need to sign a really good goalkeeper. He is 33, and for the sense of like, if I was playing this for 10, 15 years, I'll be all for it. But because this is the last season, I wanted to have that world-class goalkeeper. And I don't know if we've replaced him. I'm going to be fair, though, because this actually does make sense. If the money's good, which it is very good, and he is 33 in a normal save that's not capped at 5 years, you'd be absolutely buzzing. So I'm going to give it an 8. It just might affect the end result. Well, Middlestart lasted just about a year, and we do turn a bit of profit on him. Now, I guess it's very similar to the Fabian conversation, right? I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because we made money on a 33-year-old. And Matthijs Tel is going to be leaving, and I'd say something about Tel. He's never really done much, has he? I mean, I was buzzing for him to be here, but we've been signing Lamine Yamal, for God's sake. I mean, he's not going to have an easy time getting into the team. He goes for 22 million, so we actually, you know, we do make a bit of money on him. I guess because he's not been playing at all, it makes sense to sell him. And I've got to give the board credit for getting money. So 9 out of 10. Spurgval could now easily have stayed in the team, but we decide to loan him out to Real Madrid, which, you know, don't get me wrong, it's good for him. I mean, he's getting a little bit of culture under his belt, but this guy has developed into an absolute monster now. Why not just keep him? So I'm going to rate it a 1. Get him in our team. Well, we have replaced well. Dennis Seaman comes in for 74 million. I don't care about the price tag. We made a ton of money off Vicario, and you need to spend big, and this guy is big. 13 clean sheets in the Premier League, and we might now have a hope of winning 5 out of 5 Premier Leagues. Still only 24, by the way, so that right there, 9 out of 10. Good replacement. Well done. And the last real important signing of the actual whole rebuild is going to be Laurent Amadou, coming in from, I believe, that is the Belgian league for 12 million. Definitely a future player. He does look very well rounded, and there is potential in there. And based off what we pay compared to the value, that will be judged. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, because I think when you guys carry this on back home, you're going to have a player in about 2 or 3 years. This is the effect I thought this would have, because we failed to win the Champions League. Now, I'm a bit annoyed because I would have loved to win it every single year, but we have won it 4 years back to back, so I'm not going to cry about it. It would have been nice, but sadly, we go out in the quarters, wasn't it? We are going to go out in the quarters quite badly against Real Madrid, and I can guarantee, did they go on to win that? They didn't. I mean, Bergvall nearly got his Champions League out on loan. Super Cup, we also lose for the first time in 3 years. Yeah, things aren't going as smoothly. As we go out in the FA Cup in the 4th round, 5-0 against Man City. But we have won this trophy twice, so at least we've got it under our belts. We do win the Carabao Cup over Man City 5-3 in added time, making that 2 times in 5 years with 1 runners-up. And we also win the Community Shield 4-1 over Chelsea to make it 3 times in 5 years. The Premier League, we don't maintain. It did cost us, and for the first time in a long time, we have got no players in the goals, 1 player in the assists, which is very low compared to the usual, and Dennis Seaman does hold his own, to be fair, but even in that, we have won it 4 times. So I am going to sit here and proudly say, Tottenham, now a 5-star reputation team with perfect youth facilities, and a lot more trophies, and I mean a lot more trophies, have been successfully rebuilt with no control of the transfers. You've got a budget back home of 200 million. You've nearly got a debt-free club as well, which is a miracle. They clearly were focusing on that towards the end of the rebuild. And you've been left with a team that actually has got a lot of hope. Now, I'm going to mention a couple of players. The first player I'm going to go and talk about, as there is someone else actually, was that a player coming in? It is a player coming in, isn't it? It's not going out. It's going to be... Okay. So, players that you need to pay attention to. Bergvall. Do not loan him out, get him into the senior team, and make sure you're using him, because he is pre-built into an absolute monster. Player number 2, where is he? This man right here. Make sure you use him, make sure he's in the senior team, lock him in, get him involved. We're going to quickly check the under-21s, see if you've got any mad potential players, which you do. You've got this man here in a DLP role. He looks pretty decent, 17 passing, holds a good value. Make sure you're promoting these to the first team and getting them involved. This is absolutely vital. But even the team that you see on paper, the base value, you have got Dennis Seaman, Porro, Romero, Schlotterbeck, Udogi, Revea, Timber, Yamal, Thuram, Kuleveski, Hugo Ekitike, that is always a mouthful. And you have got so many players in that under-21s that you can promote. You've also got 200 million. So make sure you go and have fun. Your challenge is to win everything like I did with this current team. That's going to be your challenge back home. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Let me know the next team you want to see rebuilt with no control of the transfers. Doesn't have to be a big team. If it's a smaller team, I'll probably do it over 10 years because, like, obviously we're going to have to get somewhere to get money. And if you have enjoyed, a like and subscription would mean the absolute world. Both are completely free and both help me out more than you can ever imagine. Much love for watching the videos. Enjoy the rest of your day.